Hello, it's Rhyme Reviews. So this video is essentially just going to be a little kind of insight into my thought process and like how I've made my vocals and what went through my head when I was making this song. So I'll start off with just putting the basics out. I mean, this is a song. It's kind of inspired by 2 Hollis. If you know him, you'll definitely be able to tell the similarity. Sorry. I didn't make this beat. I got this from YouTube. It's free for personal use, and I'm just using it for personal use, really. I'm not making any money off of it, so that's fine. But yeah, let's get into it. I'll give you a little. I'll keep pausing throughout. I'll pause it through in each little section. So we'll start with the little intro here. Something I like, but I can't have. So I mean, first of all, like, I kind of like with 2 Hollis' stuff as well. Like sometimes he does like little vocal chops and little things like that, and it has more of like a digital sound. So one thing I've done here is I just sung it normally as you would, but you can kind of tell where there's like little cuts in between each like word. So what I've done is I've just gone and like zoomed in and I've looked in. So like if we look here, there's very little, there's not much of a waveform there. So it's probably just little tiny bits that aren't really actually in the part of what I'm saying. So I've just cut those out, and it kind of creates that little, like kind of that kind of effect there, which I kind of liked, and I went for there. Same thing for this bit. And what I've kind of done in this bit here is instead of actually singing directly into the microphone, I literally just turned my back and I just sang into my room. And it kind of lets you, it achieves a different sound, and I like the sound it makes. So I've just done that, and it's always a good idea to experiment and see how different things sound, and if you like them and if not. And obviously some things work for some songs that won't work for others, and the only way you find that out is by just trying and experimenting with a bunch of different stuff. It kind of builds up. I switch into the actual direct, into my microphone vocals. You're something I can't have, like that. Breakthroughs, you, and just saw me in a bike, saw me in a bike, saw me in a bike. So as you see, that kind of like, you can kind of tell with the vocals, it kind of builds up. Like that. Even without the beat, I mean, I'm not sure, don't quote me on this. I breakthroughs, you, and just saw me in a bike, saw me in a bike, saw me in a back. I mean, from me, it might just be because I've already heard the beat and I know there's a drop there, but like kind of the vocals kind of indicate that there is going to be a drop, and that's sort of what I was going for. I mean, it's easy to do when you have the beat there as well, obviously, because it kind of makes you naturally do that anyway. But yeah, well, that's that little section there. Oh, it's just us all alone now. Don't think about it, just put your fucking phone down. A lot of the ad-libs I've done as well, I've done the same thing where I like turn my back and I just shout into my room. It lets you like really shout with that like microphone peaking, because sometimes it can be a pain to like kind of get the right levels in your microphone, especially like a home studio, to try and get the levels right to the point where you're not clipping. And inevitably when you turn the microphone down, it has a different sound than if you were to like shout behind you. Don't think about it, just put your fucking phone down. It's you and I, oh baby, till we die now. Die now, till we die now. Just take it inside, keep it on the down low, cause I don't want nobody else to know. Oh, it's just us all alone. So yeah, that's the main like little chorus bit there, and then the beat kind of drops off a little bit. Not drops off, but like kind of mellows out a tiny bit. So I mean, like one thing I'm not the greatest with is like actual lyrics. Like my lyrics sometimes, I mean, I've gotten better recently, but like sometimes I get into the habit of just, I think of one word and I try and base a song around that, but then I end up it not making sense because I don't have an actual image in my mind. But for this song, I kind of had more of an actual image of what I was trying to, portray and like talk about in the song. Hopefully it's kind of somewhat noticeable through the lyrics. If it's not, then it's not. I mean, sometimes most people don't even understand what I'm saying, which is completely fair. But it's you and I, oh baby, till we die now. Die now, cause I don't want nobody else to know. And
then as the beat mellows out, as I said, I got a lyric or a little verse, I suppose, a little snippet of what I've already said in the song, and I just replay it as really.
Oh, it's just us all alone, alone. Oh, it's just us all alone now. Just put your fucking phone down.
I haven't just like repeated it as well. I've kind of like placed them, and I've just, you know, I've like for this instant, like,
oh, it's just us all alone.
After that one, where is it? Let's figure this out. I've got to find out actually where I say.
Don't think about it yet. It's you and I, oh, let's take it in. It's us all alone now. Don't think.
Yeah, so obviously I've got rid of this bar here from this lyric to make it sound different. You know, I don't want it to just sound like it's constant copy and paste, because it kind of gets boring as a listener. So that's one thing to always keep in mind. Try not to make your songs too repetitive. Like you don't have to have every single lyric is a unique one. It doesn't have to all be unique. Like it's okay to just loop a chorus. Like, I mean, that's a habit I have that's really bad, is I tend to just, I get overwhelmed with a song because my brain doesn't allow me to, you know, repeat a chorus. But I think I've gotten over that, and I've kind of learned how to actually just, you know, cope and stop, you know, having to, I just repeat a chorus. So yeah. Where are we at? That was not a voice crack. We didn't hear that. Did not happen.
Oh, it's just us all alone. It's just us all alone now. Just put your fucking phone down. Just put it down. It's you and I.
And as the beat kind of builds up, I add these little these bars here, and I've just trimmed them down a bit. So like the original one is this.
Oh, baby, till we die now.
It's the It's You and I one, but instead I've just chopped off, so it just literally just it's you and I. It's you and I. Oh, But we cut off that end bit there. Apologies for my beautiful singing there. I just woke up like half an hour ago, so my voice isn't up to standards. But yeah, so let me just bring that back in. The reason I did that is it kind of matches with the intensity of the build up of the beat. Like it kind of adds a bit more. What's the word? There's a word for it. You can probably think of it. Whoever's watching, I mean, it's probably on the tip of my tongue. Well, it definitely is. But yeah.
It's you and I. It's you and I. It's you and I. Oh, baby, till we die. Take it inside.
So as I say, I cut those up, but then on the third one, as the beat kind of builds up, I don't want it to be constantly repeating and sound too repetitive, as I've said before. So I just put the actual original, you know, full vocal in there, and then I just start like looping. And like I did the same thing where I did here, where I didn't, you know, I removed some lyrics and I just skip ahead. So instead of going like, it's you and I, oh baby, till we die now. I've done, what have I done actually?
You and I, oh baby, till we die.
Instead of, what did I honestly forget.
It's you and I, oh baby, till we die now. Die now.
Right, I put the die now and then till we die now, I repeat it. I get rid of those, so it's a bit more shorter and a bit quicker, to kind of indicate that the beat is building up and it's, you know, becoming more tense.
Oh baby, till we die, take it inside. Keep it on the down low, 'cause I don't want nobody else to know. You're something I can't have. Fuck that, breakthroughs, you.
So I repeat the chorus here. I had to redo this vocal because no matter what I tried, I couldn't get it to sound on beat, because the beat isn't this part of the beat isn't the same as the intro, like the start, because this is from the actual start of the song. So I had to redo that, and I've also done a little bit different here. I've done the little, you know, turn my backs in vocals. I'm not sure if I like it too much, so I might end up changing it, but hey ho. One thing that I haven't done, and I definitely should have done, is I'll do it right now, is go and normalize all the audio levels on these ones. It wasn't as important as the start because the beat wasn't as loud. So I didn't have the actual need to, you know, make those vocals as loud as they need to be in this bit here. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to do all that and normalize them, so that basically all that does, it kind of makes the waveform, you know, consistently the same volume as most of the other things. Obviously that the only time that doesn't really work very well is like if you have one really loud part in a vocal. So like, let's say one thing I always hate doing, or one thing I hate when I accidentally do, is like if you cough at the start of a take, even if you chop it off, that will still affect it when you normalize it, which is, just make sure you don't do that. Just try to be silent until you're actually singing.
And so sorry and I'm back. I'm sorry and I'm back. I'm sorry and I'm back. And so sorry and
It's a bit more matching. It sounds, you know, it's not like hiding behind the actual song, if you know what I mean.
I'm back. I'm sorry and I'm back. Oh, it's just us all.
It's one of my pet peeves on this beat. I didn't make it, so I can't hate on it too much, but it's whether, obviously, he's looped it, and it's looped really badly, like really oddly. Like, I might, just as an idea, I'm going to just, what if I just add a little tiny bit of something where the beat goes like dead for a second?
Oh, it's just us all.
Don't think it really works very well. We'll try it. I'll try again. You never know. Let's go get that, and we'll just chuck it there. Let's see what that sounds like. It's probably going to sound horrible, but I'm just trying something.
Oh, it's just
Perhaps even worse. But yeah, so as he's looping, it's just like he's just, I don't know how to describe it. It sounds off time, really, but you can hear it. You can figure out how it sounds to yourself.
Oh, it's just us all alone now. Don't think about it yet, just put your fucking phone down. Don't think about it yet, just put
To
your
the end, I'll skip forward to the end a bit. I change up there's just one little tiny lyric at the end. Obviously, I can't fit the whole chorus in there, so I didn't.
Let's take it inside, keep it on the down low. On the down low, on the down low.
So yeah, there's that. So that's kind of my thought process behind the actual, like, you know, vocal part of it, where, you know, I'm actually performing the vocals. And then for the mix, so with me, I tend to just have like a preset mix. So I have, like, obviously I make a few different genres of music, so I tend to have a few different presets from, like, you know, I have way too many presets. Like, I won't bother showing you because there's so many, but I have a lot of presets, and each one, you know, they're roughly similar. Like, most of them have a similar EQ because of my vocals. My voice is, you know, it's not really going to change that much. I'm still going to have the same harmonics and, like, you know, frequencies in my voice, no matter how I sing. Obviously, some of them might change, and that's why the EQ is slightly altered. But it's always a good start to, you know, experiment with some different genres, make a preset for those genres, and then you can, you know, chuck that preset. If you find a beat that's similar to that genre, and you want to do something, chuck the preset on, and then tweak it from there. So that's what I did on here. I did a cover of a song from Tiolis, and I used a preset from that, and I've messed around with the Decapitate, which is a distortion. So, I mean, if I give you a little bit, let's find the chorus bit. We should do this bit with the Decapitator.
Oh, it's just us all alone now.
It's got a bit of noise, a bit of distortion than without it.
Oh, it's just us all alone now. Don't think about.
I'm on the wrong one. Oops, hang on. It's this one. So with it, without it, sorry.
Oh, it's just us all alone now. Don't think about it yet, just put your fucking. Oh, it's just us all.
And this is what. Oh no, that's not what it looks like. This is what it looks like. Here we go. So I've just put punish on. So even if you were to, like, let's say we turn off the punish and we put the drive all the way to max, it still doesn't sound as aggressive as if you put the punish on.
Oh, it's just us all alone now.
Obviously, it makes it more distorted, I'd say, but it doesn't have that kind of oomph and that kind of energy behind it. So I put the drive down to 0. It's kind of odd. You'd think if you put this drive down to 0, it would have no drive, but the punish is basically just the drive on its own, and extra.
Oh, it's just us all alone now.
So I've done that. And then, you know, for my auto-tune, it's very auto-tune heavy. Like, I did have flex tune on. That was by accident. It's just one. But yeah, the auto-tune extremely heavy because that's the genre I'm going for. It's electronic. If I'm going for something that's more authentic sounding, shall I say, then obviously I'm going to change it. But yeah, so that is, you know, it's obviously there's a time and place for auto-tune, and this song is one of those places. And you've got the limiter, which is just basically a noise gate. And I put that before everything else other than the auto-tune, so that the EQ isn't trying to EQ like the frequencies in the background and stuff that I don't want to be picked up anyway. So it just makes it do less work and makes it sound slightly different. You've got your EQ, that's my additive EQ, so I've taken out these frequencies here, which I didn't like, and then I've added a little bit around here around the 5K mark and some the 9.1K, so about 9K, just there, so just to add a bit of clarity and a bit of prettiness to the vocals. And then EQ here, this is subtractive, so just listening for frequencies I didn't like in the song, like whistly sounds, and then taking them out. Compression, which is just makes everything more uniform, makes the quiet things louder, or not really, but makes the louder things the same level as the quieter things. And then once you've done that, if it's too quiet, you can then put the wet gain up, which basically just like it's the makeup. It makes everything the same volume. So yeah, it makes everything the same volume, which makes everything more uniform and sounds nicer. And then you've got kind of the yes, gets rid of the sounds, the harsh ones. And obviously I've spoken about the Decapitator, and then you have Valhalla Vintage Reverb, which is a really nice reverb plugin. There's obviously loads of different reverb plugins. They all do generally the same thing. It's just down to personal preference. A lot of the time it is also just the UI. You know, I like this UI. It's clean, it's simple. There's a lot of stuff you can do. You know, like that's one of my pet peeves as well, of like, you know, FL presets or FL plugins, sorry, is like if I go to Fruity Reverb 2 here, it's very small, it's very old and not old looking. I mean, if you want to see old looking plugins, then look at Pro Tools. All of those plugins are like they're from the 80s. But it's very cramped. You know, obviously can you make it? Okay, you can make it smaller. That's about it. But yeah, everything's very cramped, and it's kind of hard to actually see what you're actually doing. You know, you have to also know what diff is, what the cross, bass, deck, damp, all that stuff means, and you know, all of that. So, and there's not a lot of stuff explaining stuff. So it's even though I do know everything on this screen, sorry, it's a lot easier for me to recognize the full word than just deck instead of decay, you know, for instance. But yeah, so that's that for this whole video, really. Basically, it has gone on for quite a long time, but you know, it's got to be somewhat long. So if you to fully understand everything behind my thought process, and my thought process isn't like a 30-second thing where I'm like, oh yeah, make that song, say one word, done. There's obviously a lot that goes into it. But yeah, so that's that video. I do hope that's helped, and if it hasn't, then L for you, I suppose. Bye bye.